Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating and honestly deeply complex report that details Egypt's rapidly evolving geopolitical posture. What we're looking at here is a really comprehensive analysis of what's being called a multi-front deterrent strategy. Amidst skyrocketing regional tensions all around them, Egypt is allegedly trying to assert absolute sovereignty and protect its fragile economy against some truly unprecedented border pressures. They're essentially rewriting their rules of engagement on literally every single border. We're going to break down the sources' claims regarding Egypt's eastern, southern, maritime, and western maneuvers, alongside some massive internal economic shifts. All right, let's dive right into this.
We're going to be tracking 5 key areas today: the Camp David Accords, the situation with Sudan and the Jerd, Egypt's emergence as an energy hub, the new Red Sea alliance, and finally, Libyan border security. Starting things off with area number 1, reconsidering the Camp David Accords and those rising eastern border tensions.
So, according to Israeli intelligence sources cited in the report, Egypt is actively militarizing the Sinai Peninsula, which they claim is a direct violation of the historic peace treaty. But on the flip side, Egypt argues that Israel actually broke the security agreements first. They're pointing specifically to unauthorized Israeli military operations and troop presence along the Philadelphia corridor, as well as inside Gaza. It's a classic diplomatic deadlock, but the stakes here are just incredibly high.
And the specific Israeli grievances outlined in the report are honestly staggering. They claim Egypt is preparing infrastructure to settle 10 million citizens right near the border. On top of that, they're citing the construction of massive, previously undisclosed military bases allegedly even larger than the Mohammed Naguib base, along with the full militarization of the Al Arish airport and port. The report also notes claims of Egyptian special forces, tanks, and advanced radar systems being deployed into areas where, traditionally, they absolutely shouldn't be under the old treaty terms.
In response to all this, Egypt's Foreign Minister Badr Abdelatty has drawn a pretty clear line in the sand. He stated Egypt will no longer be a passive reactor to regional events. They are going to protect their borders. The source indicates this very proactive, defensive framing might actually lead to a formal renegotiation of the Camp David security annexes, specifically when it comes to troop limits and heavy weaponry placement in Zone C.
Moving on to Area 2, Sudan, the Jihad strategy and locking down southern security.
This brings us to a massive question posed by the report. How exactly does Egypt handle what they see as an existential threat to their water supply from the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or Jerd, while a brutal civil war rages right next door in Sudan? A direct military strike on the dam could literally ignite the entire Horn of Africa. So the crucial takeaway here is Egypt's reported balancing act. First off, the source claims Egypt has sent strategic delegations to Khartoum to basically talk the Sudanese army down from opening a new offensive front against Ethiopia, which would obviously further destabilize the whole region. But at the exact same time, Egypt is allegedly forming this iron ring. They're reportedly signing military deals and setting up bases in Sudan, Eritrea, and Somalia. And the most striking claim from the report, that these regional bases actually house offshore missile systems aimed directly at the Gerd. Now, they wouldn't want to completely destroy it, actually scratch that. Destroying it would cause catastrophic flooding for Sudan and Egypt, but rather they want the capability to just disable its operations if absolutely necessary.
Let's pivot inward for Area 3, turning into an energy hub and focusing on economic revitalization.
Get this. The report claims Egypt has managed to dramatically slash its massive debts to foreign petroleum companies. We're talking about a nosedive from roughly $7 billion down to just $440 million, and they are pushing to hit zero by the end of the year. Amidst all these heavy border pressures we're talking about, clearing this debt is an absolutely vital survival tactic. It restores global investor confidence and stabilizes the domestic economy. After all, a strong military posture requires a rock-solid economic foundation, right? And clearing that debt is really just step 1. Step 2 involves rolling out aggressive new drilling operations across the Red Sea, the Mediterranean, and the Western Desert. Step 3 is the long game. They're eyeing a 2028 partnership to import, liquefy, and export Cypriot gas straight to Europe. By funneling Mediterranean gas through its own liquefaction plants, Egypt is trying to make itself an indispensable, irreplaceable energy hub for the entire region.
Heading southeast for Area 4, Red Sea coordination and maritime alliances.
According to some pretty fascinating diplomatic leaks cited in the report, Egypt is pulling off some covert, high-stakes maneuvers well beyond its immediate borders. They are reportedly setting up military bases near the critical Bab el-Mandeb Strait and the Omani border. On top of that, they're said to be involved in rebuilding and training factions of the Yemeni army, all while sovereign Egyptian companies quietly construct new strategic ports in the region to effectively lock down those crucial maritime trade routes. But here's the kicker. The source claims this isn't just a solo Egyptian endeavor. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is reportedly bankrolling a massive proposed military coalition. We're talking about a united heavyweight front involving Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Pakistan, Turkey, and a stabilized Yemen. The overarching goal stated by the source is to aggressively secure this maritime corridor and definitively counter Iranian influence in the region. Finally, let's look at Area 5, Libya, and securing that western front. Now, this is a particularly explosive claim from the report. It alleges that Israeli intelligence is actually covertly intervening in Libya by moving mercenaries into the western part of the country. Their reported goal here is to support the government of Abdulhamid Dbeibeh, specifically going against the eastern factions that have traditionally been aligned with Egypt. In direct response to these perceived Western threats, the eastern Libyan forces, under General Khalifa Haftar, reportedly kicked off a massive military maneuver, dubbed Dignity Shield II. This was a massive exercise involving 25,000 fighters, heavily utilizing Egyptian-style weaponry. The source frames this enormous display of force as a clear, undeniable warning to Western Libyan factions and really any foreign backers not to test the eastern border's defenses. At the same time, Egypt isn't just relying on military flexes. They are actively pushing diplomatic boundaries. They're negotiating a major security deal with the UK to legitimize their western border concerns on the global stage. Simultaneously, Egypt is leaning hard into deep soft power by executing extensive infrastructure projects in eastern Libya. It's a clear attempt to transform and economically stabilize the region, keeping it securely under their wing. So, bringing it all together, what does this mean? The overarching analysis here is that Egypt is adopting a highly aggressive strategy of multi-front deterrence. Whether it's pushing back on Israel regarding Camp David, surrounding the GERD with allied bases, building a Red Sea coalition, or flexing military muscle alongside the Libyan National Army, they are forcefully securing their spheres of influence on all four borders to ensure absolute national sovereignty in a deeply, deeply unstable region. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one big, provocative thought based on everything we've just unpacked. If all these rapidly shifting military and economic maneuvers detailed in this report actually come to fruition, how will these overlapping alliances ultimately redefine the balance of power in the broader Middle East? It's literally a geopolitical chessboard, and every single piece is currently in motion. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and definitely keep your eyes on these borders.